You're now listening to Tuff Tiger Talk. Flash Report.
These guys have looked exceptionally good at times this year. They're very capable. They have lots of good players on both sides of the ball. Very explosive on offense. Got really good receivers, a couple good running backs. I know they've done some rebuilding, with their team this year because of how many players they lost from last year's national championship team. But, these guys really played well last week at Texas A&M. The defense has really played better and better as the season has worn on. And they've got some very talented players on defense in the secondary and in the front seven as well.
We've practiced Alabama, it seems like, now for the third week. So we kind of know them very well. Obviously, a great football team, a great football coach, led by their offense, 48 points a game. Mac Jones is having a tremendous year. Najee Harris is going to be the best back we see all year. Devontae Smith is an outstanding player, 72 receptions. They do a great job. Sarkisian does a great job of getting him the ball, and probably the best offensive line that we'll see all year. It's going to be a tremendous challenge, but we're looking forward to playing Alabama. I hope we have a great crowd there, as many as we possibly can, and it'll be a wonderful night for the Tigers.
How powerful of a motivator is revenge when it comes to playing a football game?
Well, to be honest with you, I never try to use that as a motivating factor. Every season is different. Every team is different. But do I think it is a motivating factor with individuals and players? I absolutely think it is. I think that, awareness of what happened in last year's game and all that is always something that, players remember, think about how they felt, after the game last year or whatever. And I do think it's a motivating factor.
Well, he's a great coach. I mean, look at what he's done. And he's done a fantastic job with his football team. You can see the same traits in and out with his football team. Execution, great players, great coaches, great plays. I think that the guy's done a tremendous job with his program.
That's Coach O and Nick Saban mixed up, man. Thank you for joining us for this installment of Tuff Tiger Talk. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you aren't a subscriber as we bring you the LSU versus Alabama preview show. And, of course, like I said, that was Coach O and Nick Saban. Of course, Nick Saban hit you with a little politician. And then, of course, he told you the truth that, of course, it's motivation. LSU did Alabama dirty last year, and they want some revenge. Right now, they're the number 1 team. We couldn't beat the number 5 team going to their building. But now we have the number 1 team coming to LSU and the Crimson Tide. They're 8-0 in conference play, coming off of an Iron Bowl win over Auburn, a team that demolished us early in the year. LSU's 3-4, looking for 500, 2 games left to go on the schedule. Alabama sitting up here, then followed by Florida matchup. Listen, I know a lot of people really don't have any faith that LSU could pull it off, but upsets happen. Matter of fact, the matchup predictor is giving LSU a 6.1% chance that they'll beat Alabama. But listen, upsets happen all the time. This will be a game on CBS at 7 p.m. Central Time. Main game, and the nation will be able to see how bad LSU's been playing. But really, listen, man, if we can sink in, we've had some absolute demoralizing losses this season. The Texas A&M matchup, which just got it just pissed me off to the highest level of pissivity to be able to watch them steal that touchdown from us, in which the guy caught the ball. You only need 1 foot down. He had control of the ball. He broke the plane of the goal and they called it incomplete. Absolute corruption and dirtiness at the highest order. It always happens to us every time we go up to that rotten ass stadium in Texas A&M. But I digress. The reality of the day is we have the Alabama coming into Death Valley. We're 3-4. Our defense did play better in the matchup against Texas A&M. The offense is still sputtering and stammering, but according to our inconsistent pattern, that we'll have a crappy, shitty game, and then that will be preceded by a very good game. So hopefully this good game could hope we catch Alabama right, and then LSU plays an unbelievable night to bat the hell out of Alabama, knock them off the number 1 pedestal that they're sitting under, and give them another black eye for this year and finish out strong. I'll take an Alabama win. I'll take a Florida win to close out the year. at a 5-4 team. I'll take that. I really would. I'll take that and finish out 5-4 with wins over Alabama and Florida later on the back end. We got going early. We started the broadcast off with Coach O and also Nick Saban giving thoughts about what's going on with this team. Of course, Coach O said this is a dynasty. Listen, all we can do as LSU family members is just support the team to finish out 2 wins to get to 500 and then finish out to get to 5-4. That's what I'm hoping for. Respectability is all I can ask from to uphold the level of play of the LSU Fighting Tigers. That's all we got to say. Now let's get into the matchup here about some of the top players that'll be matching up in the game here. Alabama's quarterback, Mac Jones, is 173 of 227. He has almost 2,800 yards passing. He has 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, playing really well right now. We'll have to kind of knock them off a bit. This is a tall order, no doubt about it, because Alabama's playing very ferocious football right now. They're not playing any game. Defense is awesome. Their offense is scoring out of this unbelievably. We'll go over the team statistics momentarily. We have to be able to stop Mac Jones. We have to stop Najee Harris, who continues to be nothing but a star talent. 148 carries for 893 yards. The kid has 17 rushing touchdowns on the year. That's absolutely phenomenal. You know, that's a tall order for the LSU defense, but we are up to it. I'm telling you, we are, man. I know you're saying, well, man, you're crazy. But listen, I'm just keeping it real with you. I think we really are. Their top weapon is Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith has 72 catches for 1,074 yards. The kid has 12 touchdowns. These are unbelievable numbers for players, but Alabama, that's what they do. They have a wide open offensive system. They love throwing it and running it, and they're a balanced team with a lot of talent. We have to be able to keep doing what we're doing here. Now, looking at our guys, Miles Brennan is still the top passer on the team. None of the freshmen have made it up to that level yet. TD Price, as I call him, 88 carries for 367 and just 3 touchdowns, not even half of what Najee Harris is bringing to the table. We need TD Price to get the ball more. We really do. First of all, what he needs to do is get guys in there that know what the hell they're doing. Blocking, you need to get the best blockers you can, run blockers in there. And we need to really see about setting this thing up, because Alabama's game plan into this thing is to stop LSU from rushing the ball and to force the freshman quarterback to beat them. That's the same damn thing Texas A&M did, the same goddamn thing Auburn did, and expect Alabama to mimic that game plan. You're going to have to run the ball against this team, and it's going to be tough, but we have to. And of course, receiving yards. You look at the top receivers. It was Terrace Marshall Jr. He had 48 catches for 731 yards and 10 touchdowns. He opted out. So your best wide receiver weapon gone. You know, your starting quarterback, Brennan, gone. You'll have 2 freshmen that'll probably alternate, even though Max Johnson, in my opinion, he did look better in the matchup against Texas A&M. He gives them a bit of a guy that can scramble and throw. And even though you do like TJ Finley, he's terribly inconsistent. And you might want somebody that's going to be able to get out of harm's way. He's a statue back there. Let's look at some of the team statistics coming to the matchup. LSU's averaging 30.4 per game, while Alabama averages 48.5 points per contest. Alabama averages 48.5 points per game. LSU's 30.4 points allowed per game. LSU 30.3. Alabama 18.5. So they're keeping you under 18.5 points per game. LSU is allowing 30 points per game from the defensive standpoint. And that's where it is. The discipline, defensively speaking, Alabama has it. LSU shows it in spurts. We'll see who have it for that game. Total yards, 535.6 for Alabama, 425 for LSU. Passing yards per game, 358 yards per contest. Alabama's throwing through the air. LSU's 13.4 through the air. Alabama runs 177.5 yards per game on the ground, 177.5 yards per game. LSU gives up 112 points a game on the ground. That's very, very tough. And you look at the defense. Alabama allowing 358 yards per game, 238.6 of it through the air, and they allow you to gash them at 119 flat. LSU giving up 443. They allow you to throw for almost 303 yards through the air. And then, of course, they allow you to get 140 yards a game on them. So, man, it's going to be interesting because Texas A&M running back was able to put up some pretty big numbers to help move the bar, the running attack against LSU. And you don't think Najee Harris is going to test that out? So it's going to be interesting, man. That's some very staggering statistics. LSU is going to have to play big and beyond. We're going to have some fans in the stands for the LSU matchup, and we're going to damn sure need them, man, because LSU, my goodness, man, up and down, the total model of inconsistency the entire season that we've been dealing with. And we talk about C-19, we talk about the opt-outs, we talk about everything. But it's almost, you look at what Alabama's doing, they're doing nothing but winning games. They're smacking the hell out of people. They beat Georgia, who was number 3 at the time, 41-24 several weeks back. They slapped Tennessee 48-17, destroyed Mississippi State, a team that knocked our asses off. They beat them 41-0. They beat Kentucky 63-3, and they're just coming off a 42-13 shellacking over Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and that same Auburn club dusted LSU asses 48-11. So, I mean, what goes to show you is that the level of challenge, even though they're dealing with C-19, hell, their coach just had C-19. He couldn't be their coach. Everybody's dealing with C-19. Everybody's dealing with injuries. It's how you respond to it is a whole nother thing. And that's why I'll tell Uncle Mazi when he pops up on the show, he mentions the C-19 stuff and all of the challenges and the hurricanes. Listen, it's how you handle adversity, which means is a lot. And you see with Alabama, they just keep winning. Despite the matter that, you know, we look at where LSU is, we're up and down. We lose 45-41 to Missouri. We beat South Carolina 52-24. We lose 48-11 to Auburn. We beat Arkansas 27-24. We lose 20-7 to Texas A&M. Do we then come back and beat the Alabama Crimson Tide and shock the nation? And that should galvanize us for the final matchup. Let's finish strong is all I'm saying. Let's finish this strong. We can put a major smack and dent in Alabama's title hopes this year if we can knock their asses off. So I'm for that. We've lost 1-1, but every time we've lost, we've responded with a very gutsy performance. We just have not been able to put 2 consecutive wins and 2 streaks together to keep pushing this thing. But LSU can still finish respectfully by beating 2 teams. Now, of course, you have Alabama, who's the top team on the west side, and then you look at Florida, who the Tigers have to play in the final game on the east side. We could finish out strong with wins over both of these opponents and really kind of salvage some of the feeling that we're getting in the rest of the nation. Now, LSU will be facing, they took on the number 5 Texas Aggies. They'll have the number 1 Alabama Crimson Tide, and then next week is the Florida Gators, who are 7-1, who's number 1 in the SEC East. They're 6th ranked in the country right now. We have to be able to, and that only loss came against Texas A&M by 3 points early in the year. So what we have to do is we have a legitimate chance to really wake up some noise. And I know it's a long shot. I get you on that. I know it's a long shot. But imagine if we could salvage for 2 weeks what kind of damage we can do in college. Now, we kind of frittered around and screwed up from this season, but we can salvage and make it more of a respectable thing if we can beat the Crimson Tide in Death Valley to take care of business against Florida in the Swamp. We can finish out strong, go to 5-4 and salvage the season with 2 wins in the next 2 weeks against Alabama and Florida, 2 of our hated rivals. We got to go to the Swamp to do it. But listen, we've been inconsistent all year long. We win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. Now we have an opportunity to beat Alabama at home, travel to Florida the next week and take care of it. I know it's a tall order, but listen, if we could salvage some pride here and get the correct game plan, we can do this thing. A lot of stuff can happen and anything can happen any given Sunday. So I'm a Tiger man through and through. I bleed purple and gold. So let's get this together, Tigers. Let's make it happen. One more news note and item just to sprinkle on you guys. The fact that Jabril Cox has been named among 16 semifinalists for the Dick Butkus Award for the nation's best linebacker. So good job. Also, you remember the last player to give it was Devin White. He was the first LSU player to win the Butkus Award in 2018, and he was taken by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Jabril Cox, 6'4", 230. He's been a top defensive playmaker for LSU. He returned an interception for a touchdown in the season opener against Mississippi State. And against Arkansas, he returned another interception just shy of the goal line. He's been a big player, making big plays, and congratulations to Jabril Cox being named as a semifinalist for the Dick Butkus Award amongst 16 other fellas. So that's some good news as well. Let's make some good news against Alabama and then into Florida. So I'd like to thank you guys for being here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this show in your social feeds, and share with other Tough Tiger Talk family members. I'm Big Q. Thank you for being here. I'm going to holler at you later. Go Tigers.
Subscribe to the Tough Tiger Talk channel and stay up to date for all things LSU football.